iPhone 13. Best Smartphone 2022 $829. Best-in-class performance, beautiful design and finish. In 2020, across 4 iPhone models, most people's decision-making came between the iPhone 12 and 12 Pro. With this year's seemingly incremental improvements, do overdue iPhone upgraders face the same conundrum, or is the standard iPhone 13 the smartest pick of the bunch? On the surface, little appears to have changed compared to last year's iPhone. There's a new palette of colors to choose between, including the new green, which is available from March 18, 2022. The rear cameras are now positioned at a diagonal and there's a fresh piece of silicon running the show, but beyond that, the 13 looks almost like a carbon copy of its predecessor. As ever with the iPhone formula, reviewing this year's model is an exercise in understanding whether Apple has managed to pack its new standard model with enough new features to feel like a worthwhile upgrade, while also striking a price/performance balance that truly competes against the wider smartphone market. Design and build. Beautiful design. Great color options, including new green. Top-notch water resistance. Last year, longtime iPhone fans had their sense of nostalgia tickled when Apple moved from the 11 series rounded geometry to a more slab-sided look, as first seen on 2010's iPhone 4, albeit with all the precision you'd expect from a subsequent decade of practice refining the iPhone's form. Display and audio. Superb colors and contrast. 60 Hz lags behind the competition. Smaller notch doesn't really add anything. At first blush, the 13 sports what looks like the same great 6.1 inches 19.5:9 Super Retina XDR OLED panel used on the iPhone 12. It's just as crisp, beautifully vibrant and doles out superb viewing angles, as well as improved brightness of up to 800 nits in bright sunlight. The 12 topped out at 625 nits under the same conditions, and up to 1,200 nits when viewing HDR content, according to Apple. Software and features. iOS as approachable and easy to use as ever. iOS 15 adds meaningful features like focus modes. FaceTime finally supports Android and Windows users. If you're on any iPhone from the 6S range or newer, you may well have already upgraded to iOS 15, but the 13 series are the first set of iPhones to launch running this latest incarnation of Apple's mobile operating system. Performance. Outperforms even the most powerful Android flagships. A15 Bionic should deliver great performance long-term. Great for gaming and other demanding apps. While comparing benchmarking scores against Android rivals is an imperfect way to evaluate the relative power of Apple's latest iPhones, it does align with the expected top-notch performance that the company's handsets have come to be known for. Battery and charging. Charging speeds are still relatively slow. Superb battery longevity. No charger in box. Excluding the Pro Max lineage, the iPhone 13 features the largest battery of any other iPhone to date, even larger than the iPhone 13 Pros, and Apple touts improved longevity as one of the phone's biggest enhancements over last year's model. Camera. Superb selfies. No telephoto camera. Cinematic mode is hit and miss at capture. Outstanding dynamic range, but smart HDR can trip up. At first glance, it seemed that the unusual diagonal sensor placement of the 13 and 13 Mini's dual rear camera system was simply an exercise in differentiation with its otherwise identical-looking predecessor. However, a slate of new photographic hardware is apparently the real reason for the phone's offset snappers. Price and availability. Despite the improvements the iPhone 13 brings to the table and the fact that it starts with double the base storage of the iPhone 12 at 128 GB, pricing is practically unchanged from last year, starting at £779/€899/$799, with UK pricing actually coming in £20 lower than last year. Apple iPhone 13 specs. 6.1 inches 60 Hz Super Retina XDR OLED display. Apple A15 Bionic processor with quad-core GPU. 128GB/256GB/512GB storage. 12MP main camera with sensors Shift OIS. 12MP ultrawite camera W/120 degrees FOV. 12MP TrueDepth front camera. Face ID. Wi-Fi 6. 5G. NFC. Bluetooth 5. 3240 mAh battery. Up to 20W PD charging. Up to 15W MagSafe wireless charging. MagSafe accessory support. Up to 7.5W Qi wireless charging. IP68 dust/water resistance, up to 6 meters for up to 30 minutes. Dual SIM, nano and eSIM. 146.7mm x 71.5mm x 7.7mm 174 grams. Colors: Starlight, Midnight, Blue, Red, Pink.